from the ESPN 1280 studios in San Luis Obispo, it is time. It is Living the Run. We're not just chewing the fat, we're getting rid of it. We are your home for everything health and fitness.
Living the Run is being brought to you by Running Warehouse, CrossFit Grover Beach, Artie's Pilates, and in partnership with the American Cancer Society and the Heal Slow Coalition.
Here are your hosts for Living the Run, Ryan Ferran and Paul Tarek.
And welcome back to Living the Run Health and Fitness Radio on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. Happy to follow the Sports Bite as we do every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 here on 1280. We got plenty to chat to you about tonight, as we always do, as we try to get everybody healthy and fit and feeling good on the Central Coast and beyond. We are streaming live online as well on livingtherun.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and, of course, livingtherun.com. We're going to talk about the first college university to open up a all-vegan cafeteria. How about that, going all vegan? They do have other options, of course, on campus, but what does that say about the ever-growing vegan movement? We'll ask Paul how long he can do a vegan diet for, and we'll remind the good listeners about my vegan experiment. We'll also talk a little bit about Food Inc., very interesting movie. Paul recently popped it in, the old DVD player, and saw it. So if you have any comments on Food Inc., very kind of eye-opening movie that has some things you probably glad that you saw, and some things that you probably wish you hadn't seen.
Yeah, I think it's one of those movies that you don't really want to watch it unless you really want to know what could be in your food.
Yes. It does point out some things that if you just want to go through life and not know, probably not throw that movie in. But I remember after I watched that, I switched to cage-free eggs. Did you make any switches after viewing it, Paul?
No. No, I'm more conscious now.
Conscious of what?
I don't want to ruin it for the listeners. I'm more conscious of the stuff I'm putting into my body that I don't, that's not on the label. That possibly could be in there. I'm not saying it is, but it's really funny how food has been turned. It just opens your eyes, I guess, that food has been turned into a profitable industry in the U.S. You know, where they've lost sight of what's actually important, getting people healthy food and nourishing the body, and they've turned it into a profitable enterprise. And in doing so, they have to make a bunch of sacrifices, and it is an eye opener.
Are you telling me the food industry is not looking out for my best interest, Paul? Is that what you're telling me?
Now, again, this could be just this could be just a skeptic, but it seems to be that there are people putting things in food to make them look nicer. So you're going to buy one steak over the other steak because it looked better, but in order to make it look better, they had to, they had to add some coloring, or they had to add some preservatives or some antibiotics that aren't necessarily on the label. The other thing it talked about in the movie was you don't have, like, genetically modified food, how they don't have to tell you about that, and the industries that want to keep you from finding out their arguments for and against it. So it's definitely a movie to bring up some questions.
Yeah, good point, because the genetically modified food part is something that a lot of people are fighting for, so that when we go shopping, whether you're for them or against them, at least we should know that it is a genetically modified food, because the argument is there's not enough research to know if they are good or bad for us, so why not let us, being the consumer, decide for ourselves and throw a little GMO sticker on that food.
Yeah, the best argument that they had against it was, well, it may tell the consumer that, that it could be something to watch out for, or warn them of something that might not be real. But, the direct argument against that is just let them make the decision. If you have nothing to hide and it's not a big deal, just put it on the label.
There's actually a great book out there for those of you that actually like to read books. I don't know if there's too many of you out there. There's one not in here, but it's called The Ethics of What We Eat by Peter Singer. And he's definitely a diehard utilitarian, so some of his perspectives are a little bit skewed. But what it does is it follows these three families, one that's your typical Walmart shopping family, and then a family that's a little bit more conscious of what they eat. They do a little bit of organic eating and stuff like that. And then they follow this last family that does nothing but vegan. And it follows these three families to the grocery stores, and it watches everything they put into their basket. And then what this guy does is he goes and he follows where that food came from to get into those packages into that store. And it just kind of explains that, you know, even though you are buying some cheaper food at the grocery store, and here in America we have extreme low costs on food, there are other expenses that are going on out there, and they're just ones that we don't see because we don't live next to these factory farms and these places where all this waste is just being dumped and dumped. And there's quite a negative impact on the environment from this low cost of food that we get. You got to wonder, why is it that we're getting such a low cost? It's because they're able to do things in such high quantity and with such little concern to the environment.
The one thing that the question it brought up for me, and it was kind of the eye-opener, and it makes it hard for me to eat steak now, is if I were to buy a piece of steak and walk outside and drop it in my backyard, maybe the cat peed, maybe a cat peed there, maybe the dog did, I wouldn't just wash it off and eat it. I would feel, man, there's something's not right about this. I can't eat that. But then when you look at these giant farms and while the cows are alive, so not just on the surface, you know, they're ingesting this food that may have, how should we say, cow droppings on it. I mean, they're standing like leg deep in this stuff, and they're you know, they're so packed tightly in there. We don't think twice to eat that meat. And that stuff could be in the meat. I don't know. And you know, when you go to these big farms and you go to the big processing centers, when people are handling that many pieces of meat each day, you know, a guy comes in. How many people know the guy that comes to work every day because he wants to be at work and he can't afford to miss, and he's got the sniffles or he's a little sick, and this guy's handling your meat going down the line. And it's like we think when we go to the store, oh, that's clean, that's got to be good, you know. And if we drop it on the floor, then oh, it's not any good. But we don't think anything before we actually, you know, before it went into the package.
Yeah, and Food Inc. does bring up a good point, because like you said, when we go to the store, it's like Paul said, it's nice, neat, it's packaged, it looks red, and it looks how it's supposed to be. But when you go out and if you can get some kind of security access and visit one of these big factory farms, which they try to keep you away from, they are literally swimming around in their own poo all day long. And of course, that's getting in their food supply. It's all over them, and it's disgusting. But how else are you going to mass produce that much food without taking some shortcuts? And a lot of these factory farms, unfortunately, are taking shortcuts, and in the end, we're eating their shortcuts, which is not good. But that's why a movie like this, depending on what side of the fence you're on, at least you can watch it and kind of gain some perspective, and maybe it's biased one way, but you'll definitely learn some things.
I did some research on it after the show, and I had to look it up because, you know, a lot of people talked about grass-fed. There's a whole other argument about grass-fed versus grain-fed, and how cows, you know, respond to each type of nutrient. And so I said, all right, well, let's find some of these organic grass-fed beef places around here. There's a couple on the Central Coast, and to give somebody an idea, you can get started on a regular price at the store is for basic ground beef is $3 a pound for basic ground beef. Not on sale, just regular price, middle of the road stuff. You can buy from, I believe it was Johansing Farms. I can't remember the name. Mm-hmm. Well, I can't pronounce the name. That's more the problem. But it runs about $5 a pound, and it's organic, grass-fed, no antibiotics, no hormones injected into it, none of that. Right here on the Central Coast. So, and I think there were 3 or 4 local places just here in San Luis Obispo County, not counting if you want to go over to Fresno or Bakersfield or up north a little further. So there's a lot of options, and the cost, you know, to me, in my mind, I was saying, no, it's going to be way too expensive. You can get I think it's a 20-pound starter package for about $160, which comes out to $8 a pound. But in that $8 a pound, you're getting T-bones, you're getting porterhouse, you're getting flat iron steaks. So you're getting a lot of good steaks. It's not that much more expensive, like mainstream wants to have you believe. It's definitely worth exploring. And I think we're going to look into it. And I got my little boy. I don't want to start him out. I don't want to start him out with all the bad stuff that I do. I gotta make some changes.
There's actually a program up at Hearst Ranch, I believe, where you can order or pre-order like a half a cow. and you go up and can actually pick the cow you want, and the prices are wholesale, and they're incredibly cheap. I mean, they're right around what you would pay at the grocery store, and you're getting 100% pure grass-fed beef, no hormones, no antibiotics added. And I mean, if you've got a big freezer and you know, hey, I'm going to eat meat over the course of the year anyways, I might as well save a lot while saving my body. And one of the main reasons that antibiotics and all that stuff are injected into cows is because cows' stomachs aren't designed to digest corn and grain. I mean, they're not made that way, and so they get a lot of diseases from just pumping these cows full of corn, so they have to shoot them up with all these antibiotics just to keep them alive for long enough to get that mass in order to create a product worth selling that create a bottom line that isn't in the red at the end of the day.
Yeah, they talked a lot about the grains and the corn, inducing or promoting a growth of mold in the cow's stomach or some sort of fungus in the cow's stomach. And it was, once I was watching, I was thinking, I love steak, but I couldn't eat it. So if any of the listeners out there have had any experience with any of these organic grass-fed places that you can order these or Hearst Ranch, write in. Let us know what you thought of it. I mean, I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, you can text the show, 242-1280. If you're listening outside the Central Coast, you can text 805-242-1280. I know the Kilt in San Luis Obispo San Luis Obispo serves the Hearst Ranch burgers, which are grass-fed. You can go to places like Trader Joe's, Spencer's Fresh Markets. There's a couple other places, too, where you can get, if you're not looking to buy that large quantity, a guy like me, I'm not going to buy a large quantity, freeze it, cook it.
But can't get it at Costco.
Probably not.
Yeah, 55-gallon drum of mayonnaise.
Although, who knows? A lot of those stores, including, I don't know about Walmart, but they're going organics with some fruits and vegetables. I don't know about the beef. But you can get those grass-fed options. And the corn versus, grass-fed, what you guys are talking about with the cows, is a huge thing. They were not meant to ingest corn, but, we're talking about, the sacrifices of price that they make. In order to grow all that meat and all those cows to feed them, they go corn over grass because it's easier, it's quicker, it's cheaper, and they can turn over that factory farm that much quicker. But cows and their digestive system, I mean, you can see some pretty gross things in Food Inc. about how they have to go in there, the antibiotics because they're eating the corn. I mean, that's one of the reasons they have to give them antibiotics because of what they're feeding them. I mean, doesn't that tell you something? I mean, you're making the cow sick by what you're giving them, and then they have to give them the antibiotics. And, it's in the cow, so to think that we're not eating antibiotics is ludicrous. It's just a matter of how much, our systems can take, and hopefully you're healthy enough where you can take some of that junk that's in there that they're eating and eventually we're eating. So it is a very interesting concept, the grass-fed versus corn junk, whatever they give them. Here's some numbers. I wrote about Food Inc., a little preview. This was last year. Here's just some overall numbers according to Food Inc. In 1972, the FDA conducted approximately 50,000 food safety inspections.
Oh, this is going to make people angry. I watched this, and when I saw these numbers, I had to look them up, and according to the internet, who knows if it's true or not.
Well, it's according to Food Inc., this documentary.
Yeah, but you can find the number. You can also find the numbers on the internet on what news website? I'll look it up and I'll get you the website.
I have a list of the numbers on livingtherun.com.
No, but to back up the claims of Food Inc. is what I was saying.
So in 1972, FDA conducted approximately 50,000 food safety inspections. Fast forward to 2006, less than 10,000. One of 3 Americans born after 2000 will contract early onset diabetes. 70% of processed food in supermarkets have some genetically modified ingredients. That's going back to Paul's point. It'd be kind of nice to know if you have GMOs in your food. So they're saying 70%. And getting back to the whole, we didn't really touch on the seed issue, which is kind of a nightmare if you're a farmer and have to deal with that.
That was enraging to me to watch that. That you can patent. You can patent a modified seed, and then you can go after farmers for just replanting, like doing what farmers should do. Use their old seeds.
Yeah.
What a racket.
And that is, and I don't know the farming business that well, but watching that was infuriating, and I felt terrible for the farmer. So here's one of those stats alluding to the seed issue and Monsanto, who is one of the huge companies buying up those seed patents. In 1996, when Monsanto began selling Roundup Ready soybeans, only 2% of soybeans in the U.S. contain their patented genes. By 2008, over 90% of soybeans in the U.S. contained Monsanto's patented gene.
If I remember correctly, I think when they said the Roundup Ready bean was that essentially it wasn't killed by simple Roundup, I think was what the explanation was.
You had to spray Roundup on it, right? And there was something...
I don't know. I think it had to do with you didn't need any other pesticides.
Right, so you had to spray their Roundup or, it basically goes to die.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. But I talked to the power of Monsanto and the seed hoarding, if you will, and that thing. So Food Inc. is a very interesting movie, and we talked about the beef, but it also, as I mentioned, it's the same thing with the chickens and the eggs they lay, because those barns, they're dark, they have no space, they're locked up, they're cooped up, hence chicken coop, and they are also swimming around in their own feces, and don't think that doesn't get in your food supply as well.
I mean, I would really recommend that if any of you are interested in kind of this sort of subject and you like fooding, just delve a little bit deeper. Check out this book. It's called The Ethics of What We Eat. It really goes into severe detail. I mean, more than a 2-hour documentary would be able to go. I mean, I haven't seen Food Inc., but it sounds like a lot of the stuff that the movie mentions is similar along the same lines. And they just, in every possible way, I mean, hammers it in to the point where it's a little bit annoying at the end. You're just like, I've read that already. But just every possible facet of every industry he goes into. And it's frightening to hear what they do to these animals, how they run these factory farms. I mean, animals are... I'm not going to get into severe details because a little of it's too grotesque to even kind of mention over the air, but these animals are treated about as bad as you could possibly imagine, and then they package it in those nice, neat, colorful packages, put it there for 99 cents for a dozen eggs. It's hard to beat, but you really got to think about what's going in to your food to make it that cheap. So I really recommend checking out that book if you get a chance. There's some insightful knowledge in there.
Please, people, satisfy Max and his need for people to read these things called books with these other things in them called facts. Max wants us to do. He's stuck on this for some reason.
Ethics of What We Eat is the book. The movie, the documentary we are talking about is Food Inc. And Food Inc., it does get kind of, it's a little disturbing. It gets gross, but they don't go over the top because honestly, I think the filmmakers could have went even pretty deeper and really grossed everyone out where we're all, turning into vegan immediately. So they do show a harsh reality of it, and the reality is it's not pretty and it is kind of gross. So, they're not painting a pretty picture, but it is what it is. But I do give them credit because they could have really hammered home that point and spent, a half an hour slopping around in what they're slopping around in.
Well, the one thing to remember is any meat that you're eating, I mean, this is just common sense, but any meat that you're eating, it came from an animal that was alive that had to be killed to get it. Whether I'm from Michigan and everybody hunts there. I don't know if anybody else out listening hunts, but if you ever have to kill a deer, it's not very nice. It's not like you show up and you kind of present him with his little invitation to come out to have dinner with you, and you just, slip him a little bit of poison and he nods off to sleep. I mean, you have to shoot this thing, and then you have to track it, and hopefully by the time you find it, it's dead, because if it's not, then you have to kill it. So it is, I mean, there is an element of fear involved in that too, but, it's a lot different than when you're watching animals that have no chance of ever getting away, of ever escaping, basically being raised to be food and then just tossed into a grinder, essentially.
So when you're hunting, you don't bring out a nice glass of Cabernet, maybe a little cheese?
I absolutely do.
There you go.
As Smokey the Bear says, only you can prevent forest fires, so there will be no candlelight dinners with the deer.
Okay, so Food Inc. is the movie. We suggest you take a look at it and find out what is in your food. There's also a good write-up preview about exactly what you will see and some of the numbers according to Food Inc. on livingtherun.com. Just go to the search box top right of livingtherun.com and search in Food Inc. When we come back, we will talk about the first university in the nation to open up a all-vegan cafeteria. And we will also get to our Malahi Ford text trivia contest. Name that famous athlete singing. We will give away an Artie's Pilates Power Pack and a couple of free 1-month memberships to WeStreamFitness.com. That and plenty more when Living the Run Health and Fitness Radio continues on The Ticket.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
want to take a gym class but don't have the time? Or maybe you just don't want that smelly guy dressed in his 80s gear hovering over you in yoga class? Again, WeStreamFitness.com has more than 200 real-life gym classes that we shot and recorded, and they're available to you whenever and wherever you can log on. Choose from Pilates, yoga, Zumba, kickboxing, aerobics, or our always popular tab class, thighs, abs, and booty. Plus, WeStreamFitness.com offers live chats with trainers and other wellness experts. Full access is all yours for just $15 a month. So whether you're tired of that same old boring workout DVD, or you're tired of smelly yoga guy, check out WeStreamFitness.com. We stream to keep you lean.
If you're on the bench, get on the phone to a sports medicine specialist at Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center. Call us if it's torn, broken, strained, sprained, aggravated, aching, pulled, bruised, swollen, dislocated, or hyperextended. Sierra Vista Sports Medicine Specialists, the choice of Cal Poly Athletics. For a free physician referral, call 800-483-6387. That's 800-483-6387. Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center. Top rate from top to bottom.
Running Warehouse is the fastest growing running store in the nation for all major brands of running products, including Asics, Brooks, Nike, Saucony, Mizuno, New Balance, and Adidas. Running Warehouse is focused on providing runners the best shopping experience available online, on the phone, or in our store. Running Warehouse offers top-notch customer service, an outstanding selection, an easy-to-use website, low everyday prices, plus free shipping and returns on deliveries made within the 48 contiguous states. Find out for yourself why Running Warehouse is the fastest-growing running store in the nation. Visit us online or stop by our retail store in San Luis Obispo on Suburban Road near Trader Joe's. Smart runners save cash at runningwarehouse.com.
Artie's Pilates Studio in Pismo Beach is a Pilates-only studio that uses the full line of Pilates apparatus. Whether you're rehabbing an injury, want to strengthen your core, relieve back pain, or just increase your energy and overall fitness, Artie's Pilates Studio has it all, including a full staff of trainers who are nationally certified. They offer private and semi-private lessons, plus group classes on the Pilates Reformer. Artie is even certified as a Pilates golf conditioning specialist. Artie's Pilates Studio in Pismo Beach. Call 773-3863.
A preventable epidemic in the U.S. is killing our family, friends, neighbors, and children. Over 2/3 of American adults and 34% of kids are overweight or obese, which can lead to diabetes, heart disease, and premature death. 56% of adults and 32% of 5th, 7th, and 9th graders in SLO County are overweight or obese. Healthy Eating Active Living San Luis Obispo Coalition, or Heal SLO, wants to reverse that trend in SLO County. What can you do? Help us fight the epidemic by joining Heal SLO or visiting www.healslo.com for resources or more information. Together we can work towards a healthier and brighter future for ourselves, our loved ones, and our children.
We're back with Living the Run. Here are your hosts, Ryan Ferran and Paul Tarek.
Welcome back to Living the Run Health and Fitness Radio. It is Ryan Ferran with our producer, Max Woodcock. And welcome back to the Olympian, Paul Anthony Tarek, on assignment doing research the past couple of weeks. Paul, what have you been researching, and what can you tell us? How was your assignment and your trip and all that stuff? We really, really missed you.
What I found out was Roundup Ready soybeans. Actually, I want to clarify this because we talked about it and we didn't know for sure. Roundup Ready soybeans, they're herbicide-tolerant crops engineered to enable crops to withstand doses of herbicides that would otherwise kill them. The crops are generally developed by the manufacturers of the herbicide with the hope of increasing the sale of that herbicide. So basically, we've developed a product that is resistant to this poison. So because we make this poison, we want to make money on both ends. You know, we want to sell you the seed and we want to sell you the poison. So
that's some of Paul's research. He'll bring us more of his research that he's been conducting in the past few weeks. Next week, what should we look for next week, Paul?
I'm going to be talking about how your power color blue does not match your tie, and it's not working for you.
I'm pretty sure it does match the tie.
I'm seeing more yellow, which is well, as we all know, yellow on your belly is never any good.
Not sure what that means. Actually,
any cowboy would tell you yellow belly is not good, right? That implies nothing of power.
I have never heard of that in my life.
Me neither.
You've never heard anybody called yellow bellied before? Oh my!
I think I have heard of yellow belly, but I have no idea what it means.
Oh my gosh!
I've never
You're
heard
gonna
the
get a farmer
expression, you
coming
know
here
what?
upset.
Can you politely and family-oriented describe what that means?
It means you're a coward. You're yellow.
But how does it get on your belly?
It's a saying.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe
it's
yellow.
A saying.
Maybe yellow inner thigh, leg.
There's
No.
just a lot of bad images going on in my head right now, Paul.
The point is, you're a coward. Your tie says you're a coward. I'm not afraid of you.
I'm wearing a
in your power
blue
tie.
shirt, yellow tie, and it has blue stripes with it. There's a light blue, a navy blue. How is that?
Button-down shirt.
Sorry, I don't have your Asics gray workout tee from 1987 with 14 holes in the front, 7 in the back.
It was actually from 2007, and the reason the holes are there is because I was wearing the shirt out. I was doing work. How much dirt you have under your fingernails?
Doing work.
How much dirt do you have under your fingernails? None.
I have some typing dust, though, that's for
You
sure.
have some typing dust and some manicured fingernails.
I have a brain. People pay me to use my brain. I don't need to go out and, whatever manly man stuff that you did today. What did you do with your hands today, Paul?
I built a sandcastle.
Wow, that's
Dug a
so
hole.
manly.
I dug a hole
You
and
plant
built a
some
sandcastle.
flowers, too, you manly man?
That's right. They were pink.
Wow. So again, you can feel free to research the next 2 weeks too if you want, by the way. Me and Max will hold down the fort. Our Malahi Ford text trivia question. When we get to it, it'll be name that famous athlete trying to sing. Air quotes are up for that.
You can't play a lot of this one. You can't play a lot of it. It's going to give it away.
Do you know who was our Malahi Ford text trivia last week?
No.
And we actually had to stop playing it because it was so painful. Roseanne Barr singing the national anthem. And we apologize to America, but...
Your apology should have been to never play that again, ever.
Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
I was going to say, America, you made her famous, It's not our fault.
Yeah.
I still apologize. The summer sales event at Malahi Ford in Arroyo Grande is going on now. They have more cars and trucks in stock than ever before. Malahi's policy is that they will not be undersold, so come in today and drive home in a new Ford car or truck knowing you got the lowest price on the Central Coast. All right, the first 3 people to correctly text in will win prizes. Only 1 text per person and no computer use. People who have won from us in the last 6 months are not eligible. First place winner will get an Artie's Pilates Power Pack from Artie's Pilates in Pismo Beach. It includes 1 private lesson with Artie and 4 group classes. Power Pack valued at $200. Check out artiespilates.com. She is also now on Facebook. Our silver and bronze finishers will both get a 1-month membership to WeStreamFitness.com. WeStreamFitness.com has hundreds of real gym classes that you can log on and take at any time. You can choose from Pilates, yoga, kickboxing, and the Paul Tarek favorite, Tab class, thighs, abs, and booty. They have trainer chats and live discussions as well. Text Trivia Contest brought to you by Malahi Ford, where good things are happening. 805-242-1280. Who is the famous athlete singing this song?
And I came to get down. Yes, I'm internationally known, and I'm known to rock a microphone because I get stupid. Me and Kobe, stay away from me.
All right, who is that? There's some hints in the song, and I will tell you, Mark Madsen, made famous while dancing to Shaq. Oh, man. To this rap.
Man, do you win?
I win.
Do you win?
Mark Madsen made famous by this dance he did. It's a YouTube sensation.
I thought I was going to be the first one to ruin it. I really did.
You ruined one a couple weeks ago. Not as bad as that.
No way!
First 3 in to win. I'm giving away things tonight. 242-1280. I got so excited.
Oh my gosh, that's just incredible.
Who is that? There's so many hints tonight, it's unbelievable. Our easiest one yet.
That wasn't even Holy cow.
All right, should we move on? Yes.
Oh, for the love of God, move on. Oh, look, you got a text.
Oh,
Again, people, text, don't call.
It's a text competition. Text trivia, not phone call trivia. Your phone calls will not get answered.
I like how you muted that this week. Nice job, man.
You like that?
That was awesome.
I know. I only did one drastic mess up. Okay, so there's a University of North Texas.
Oh, I was totally going to guess Berkeley.
Oh, that's what our trivia should have been. But that would have been way harder than me just giving it away. So, North Texas opens up an all-vegan cafeteria. First, are you okay, Paul?
Your text trivia is great. All right, text trivia this week. The answer is 2. First people to text.
There was multiple answers in the last 2 minutes.
If you get it wrong, you need to be hit in the head with a tack hammer.
Oh, and I apologize just for being an idiot.
All right, I'm sorry. Get on to your vegan cafeteria. Where will you not be sending your children?
Is that a reason you would not send your children there, Paul?
Yes.
Wow.
That and it's Texas. Oh, crap. Oh, no, it's not a text trivia. Anyways, that and it's Texas. It's hot. Nobody wants to. Have you been to Texas? Have you ever been to Texas?
No.
It's.
Have I? No, I haven't.
Downtown Austin was fun, and that's about it. I mean, there's miles and miles of nothing. Nothing. Really nothing.
Wow. I'm feeling better about myself now.
You already said it was Texas.
I know, but you didn't know that, so that makes me feel a little bit better. I'm still the stupider one out of the two of us, but I'm feeling a little bit better. Oh, okay. 242-1280 if you know our Malahi Ford text trivia answer, who sang that beautiful song. So the University of North Texas, the entire cafeteria. Now, other schools, campuses, they have vegan options. That's actually been growing over the past few years a little bit. But their whole cafeteria, at least one of them, I'm not sure how many they have. They have, obviously, other options on campus, but all vegan. Max, what do you think of all vegan? Prejudice towards us meat eaters or what?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it is Texas. They do consume quite a bit of beef down in Texas.
Isn't that a little bit surprising, though?
Yeah.
That it is Texas?
I was right there with Paul, thinking it'd be somewhere either in California or the Pacific Northwest. We tend to be a little bit more progressive around here.
Seattle Pacific University.
But no, I'm all for it. You know, if somebody does want to be vegan and they are in North Texas University and there aren't any options, I mean, I'm sure that's frustrating for them. So now at least they do have an option where they can go and eat and be pretty comfortable and satisfied knowing that they got the healthy alternative that they sought out. But for those people that aren't interested, you know, just stay away. Go eat at your local McDonald's. I'm sure there's plenty on campus there.
I don't know what the logistics are like there. It was North Texas, correct? I don't know what the logistics are like, but at Michigan State, every dorm had its own cafeteria. I would be frustrated, I mean, to say the least, if my dorm went to an all-vegan cafeteria and I would have to get up and then go traipse across campus to another dorm to find food. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Paul, are you upset because you would have had to live the run to get your...
It would have been living a slow, swaggered walk.
I wonder how that works, though. I get the sense this isn't a dorm cafeteria. I think it's kind of one of the main cafeterias.
I don't know. Again, I don't know how it's set up, but I would have to think that that the people living right there would have to. You know, maybe it's one cafeteria that's vegan that's not serving a selected group of people, but that would be frustrating. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, this article was in the USA Today, so they're getting a lot of publicity for their all-vegan cafeteria. Okay, Paul, how long could you last on an all-vegan diet?
I mean, what's on the line here?
$500 if you could last a week.
Oh, I could do that. For $500? You pay me $500. You pay me $500 for the week. I'd go on a cleanse. I wouldn't eat anything for a week.
You'd go on a juice fast for a week?
You want a juice fast for a week for $500?
Really?
Yeah.
What would you do for $100? Something I'm actually willing to pay.
No, not a lot.
Max, how about you? How long could you go? Just pride on the line. Vegan.
One meal.
One meal.
I love
true vegan.
I mean, I've got no problem eating just a little bit of meat with tons of veggies, tons of salad, but I love the taste of meat. I'm sorry.
Just pride on the line, I could go longer than the meal, but I mean, what are we talking like vegan here? Because there are some people that, you know, dairy doesn't even count. You can't even have dairy.
Vegan.
No
dairy.
So you're all grains, fruits, and vegetables, right? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can't really even have grains because you can't use an egg to make anything. So
No, you can have grains, granolas, brown rice, quinoa, black beans.
Grains are vegan.
Yeah.
But I mean, pride is a bad.
I guess I was talking about breads and stuff, but I mean, you can't have any of that.
Pride's a bad
No.
thing to put online too, because I'm not offended when people criticize my meal habits.
Well, get a backbone, would you?
I do.
I went an entire week vegan, and I felt really good at times, and other times I didn't feel so good. But I don't know, I only did a week experiment, so I don't know if that was, due to the vegan diet or not. Bill Clinton brought a lot of popularity to the vegan diet because he...
Oh, the vegan diet, yeah.
We, as we all know, had a lot of... What other diet do you speak of, Paul?
No, I wasn't sure. I never knew he was a vegan.
You had some smirk on your face.
I didn't have a smirk on my face. I was just saying he brought a lot of popularity to a lot of things.
Yeah.
The saxophone, for example.
Monica Lewinsky.
Man, that's just inappropriate, man.
Did he not bring a lot of popularity to Monica Lewinsky?
Washington interns.
But he brought a lot of popularity to veganism because he has had heart issues for a long time. One of his doctors recommended he go on a vegan diet, and his cholesterol went, from way through the roof. There's actually photos with him with bags of McDonald's, when he was president. But he had obviously heart issues and all that stuff, but his cholesterol went way down. So he's now been vegan, I think, for a while. And the thing with vegan is if you have high cholesterol and that's leading to heart disease, there's no cholesterol in a vegan diet. Cholesterol is found in animal products, really nowhere else. So he's done vegan. I know Ellen DeGeneres has done vegan. I saw something on there. So there's a lot of, Hollywood catches on to a lot of these diets. I wouldn't call this a diet or a fad, but it's pretty interesting listening to Bubba talk about the vegan diet. So yeah, you guys are too weak to go. I mean, you can't go a day, Max, without eating meat.
No, I could. I mean, I
now
just
here's
choose